Hi everyone, in the last video I shared with you the first maxim from my book, The Seven Maxims of Soul Happiness. In this video I'm going to share the second maxim. If you don't know me, my name is Rodney. I'm known as the food yogi, also the pragmatic spiritualist. So the second maxim of my book is that death is nothing to fear. And that's an amazing thing to think about because it's the scariest thing for most people. Death seems to be something that is a finality, the end of everything. But actually, it's really just a transformation of consciousness where the consciousness goes from one dimension to another. It's like walking through a door. It's like you're in one room and you move to another room. That's literally all death is. And it is scary because we become attached in this material world. It's natural for us to become attached, to see these things as permanent, things that we own, like a car, a house, our family. We think this is a permanent thing, but they're really just temporary manifestations of consciousness appearing before us to help us learn certain lessons. So when we understand that this material nature is temporary and the energy that animates material nature, which is us, the soul, is permanent, which is eternal, then there's nothing to fear. Because death is really, as I said, just a transformation of one going from one dimension to the other. So the other thing to understand is that we become so attached to certain things, and we realize that when we have to confront death, means we can't take those things with us. And that's the fact. We cannot take anything with us but our wisdom. So all of that wealth that you have, all of that fame, all of those different possessions, none of them can be taken with you. Once you move on to the next dimension, you can't take anything. The only thing you can take is your consciousness. That's why the most important thing to cultivate in this world, in this human experience, is our consciousness. To raise our awareness, to understand who we really are as a spiritual being, who we really are in our eternal nature. That's the most important thing. So if you focus on that, so whatever you're doing in life, whether you're a family man or a single woman, and you have a career, you have certain goals and aspirations you want to achieve, that's okay. But as long as you cultivate consciousness along with that, then your life will be fulfilled. Because if you're not raising your awareness while you're living this human experience, you're missing the true purpose of human nature, the human opportunity. You have to live in a state of raising consciousness. That's why later on I'll tell you one of the other maxims, which is all about mastering the tongue. But that's why we have to understand that whatever we do is simply we're playing a part, we're playing a role, we're learning lessons, but ultimately it's all about raising consciousness so we prepare for the final lesson, which is death. So when we take that last breath, we know, okay, this is my next chapter. This is the next part of my story. And you evolve and you take birth again according to your desire and what you deserve. So that's the most important thing to remember. What you're cultivating in this life is determining your next experience. If you want to remain attached in this material realm, then you can do that. You can take on a different physical form. But if you raise your consciousness, you can transcend and go to a higher dimension. And so death is nothing to fear. It's just a doorway. So I hope this gives you comfort. Understand that you're a spiritual soul, you're eternal, you can't be destroyed. The material body changes all the time, but we as a soul remain permanent. And that's another thing to understand, is that as in the Bhagavad Gita, it's described how changing bodies, changing clothes is similar to how we change bodies. When you put on a shirt, you take off that shirt, put on another shirt. That's literally what's happening in the physical experience. We're taking on one body, getting rid of one body, putting on another body. And all of this is based on our karma, our desire, and what we deserve. So cultivate higher consciousness, cultivate pure thoughts, cultivate pure qualities, pure behaviors, so that you can transcend this material world, not even have to take another physical form, but you can go to a higher dimension. So death is nothing to fear. You're eternal. You live forever. Death is an illusion, really. It's just a change. As I said, it's just changing dimensions. You're going from one room to the other. So I hope this helps you. I hope it gives you some comfort. I'll see you in the next video. Again, my name is Rodney, the Pragmatic Spiritualist.